What is poppin', all you guys? It's Ghiman Mckinney, your boy, or you can just call me Juice. That is my nickname. I appreciate all you guys for tuning into my channel today. Be sure to smash this like button right now if you're rocking with your boy. Subscribe to my channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos weekly and almost every single day if I can. And turn on post notifications too so you don't miss a single video. It's only right, guys. Don't get caught lacking in these streets. Okay, obviously all you guys on this channel, if you've been following for a long time, no, I'm a diehard Green Bay Packers fan, but again, I had to wear my Deshaun Watson jersey today because I'm excited. You know, I'm a huge Deshaun Watson fan. I'm not a Texans fan, okay? Don't get it twisted, but I love me some Deshaun Watson, okay? I had to wear this jersey today just because I'm previewing and breaking down the Houston Texans in 2019-2020. I'll go game by game, try to see where I can find some wins and losses on the Texans schedule, and we'll see if the Texans can potentially turn to the playoffs in 2019-2020, if they'll regress or progress. We'll see. All right, so the Houston Texans last year wasn't looking so good early on. You start off 0-3, but the good thing is Deshaun Watson and this team rallied. Deshaun Watson put this team on his back. Okay, the team went 11-2 over the next 13 games, and you ultimately won your division, and you got in the playoffs as a 3 seed. Now, the only problem was, you know, you did miss out on getting that number 2 seed. You obviously lost to the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 16. Okay, that was a tough road environment you had to go into. Unfortunately, you didn't get the number 2 seed, but you still got a home playoff game. Again, you probably want to look back on the schedule and say you probably wanted to beat the Giants the third game of your season. Okay, when you started 0-3, you lost to the Giants. They were a terrible team last year. I don't know what happened in that game, but again, you resurrected. But then in the playoffs, once you got that home playoff game, you got exposed and you just did not play a very good game. You lost to the Colts 21-7. I personally thought the Texans were a pretty good team last year. I'm not saying they were a bad team. I think they were a very good team last year. But again, I just think the Colts exposed some things the Texans had lacking for them last year. Okay, obviously, look, I'm gonna just say right now, I'm not a big Bill O'Brien fan. I'm not a huge fan of this guy. Tell me what Bill O'Brien does. Tell me, someone in the comment section, tell me what Bill O'Brien does well. I don't know what he does well. Bill O'Brien's in-game decisions are just not very good. I don't think he's a very good head coach. I think Deshaun Watson honestly kind of saved his job at some point over the past couple years. He's the best thing that could have happened to him was Deshaun Watson coming to Houston because he was on the way out, in my opinion. I don't like Bill O'Brien as a head coach. And again, I just think that because you had a bad offensive line, you had a very inconsistent secondary. Okay, you look at some teams, you know, you look at the Patriots last year. You look at the Giants with Eli Manning, a very experienced quarterback. You look at Andrew Luck. You look at Nick Foles. Those are all very good quarterbacks. You all lost to them at some point last year. So again, your secondary is very, very inconsistent. Again, this offensive line last year was just terrible. It was by far the worst offensive line in football. I don't know how it was so bad. I don't know how you can allow 62 sacks and you have a mobile quarterback. Now I do believe Deshaun Watson does hold on to the ball a little bit too much at times. But again, I just don't see how this offensive line was so bad. And the offseason, again, in the draft, you did draft a guy in the offseason. You drafted Tyus Howard. You drafted Max Sharping. But again, those two guys for me are just not doing it, okay? They're not doing it for me. Okay, I need more. I need a Cody Ford. I need a Jawan Taylor. Those are two guys you had the opportunity to draft. And you passed on drafting them last year. I don't understand why. They were much higher on my board. But again, hey, maybe the Texans know something that I don't know. Maybe they think these guys are going to come in this year and do really well. So again, you know, and again, I want to say this real quick. Last year you had a very easy schedule, okay? Okay? And again, I'm not saying that you were a product of an easy schedule last year, but again, last year, at times this Texans team was very inconsistent, okay? At times last year, when they did not play their best game, when the offensive line was still atrocious, you could still win games because your schedule was just so horrific, okay? This year, you had the 4th hardest schedule on paper. So the Texans, I'm just going to tell you right now, you're going to need to improve in some areas, okay? Now, obviously, you know, the positives for your team, you got Deshaun Watson, a borderline top 10 quarterback in the league to me. He's a star. He's a future star in the National Football League to me. You got DeAndre Hopkins, one of the top 3 or 4 wide receivers in all of football. You got Kiki Kuti, who really performed pretty well last year when he was called upon. Will Fuller, when healthy, because that's the key. He's never healthy. Is a pretty good wide receiver. J.J. Watt had 16 sacks last year. Jadeveon Clowney pretty good pass rusher. Justin Reed, a very talented DB, a rookie last year that came in and played pretty well. And then you still got Marcellus Wiley, okay? But again, this offensive line and secondary for the Texans worries me. And you can't be a Super Bowl contender to me with a bad offensive line and a bad secondary. Now, you did draft a guy. You drafted Lonnie Johnson Jr., a cornerback out of Kentucky in the second round. You did lose Honey Badger, though. You added Bradley Roby. You still got Jonathan Joseph and Aaron Colvin, but again, those guys are not doing it for me. Bradley Roby and Lonnie Johnson Jr. and Jonathan Joseph, that's not a very good secondary to me. It's just not. It's just not. I think Bradley Roby's a pretty good quarterback, but again, to me, on most teams, he's a number 2 guy. He's probably going to be your number 1 guy. And then losing the Honey Badger, your best defensive player from your best player in your secondary last year, that's a huge loss to me. So again, and then again, I wanted to address something else. Who is the Texans tight end? Who is the Texans tight end? I want to know because you don't have a tight end, okay? So again, I'm a little bit lower on the Texans this year, but let's just jump right into the schedule because, you know, I want to see if the Texans can potentially improve or if they'll regress. We'll just see. So, at the Saints, Jaguars at home, at the Chargers, Panthers at home. 2-2 start to the season. Now, I potentially could see a 3-1 start. I could see you stealing a game at New Orleans and stealing a game potentially maybe at the Chargers. But again, if I had to bet my money, I'm going to say you go 0-2 on those stretch of games. But again, you'll beat the Jaguars, you'll beat the Panthers. Now the Saints game. The Saints game is going to be a fun game to watch. Drew Brees versus Deshaun Watson. 2 very good quarterbacks. I'm going to be excited to watch that game. Okay? But again, the Saints to me are just a better team. They obviously were 1 play away from getting to the Super Bowl last year. If that call was made, I should say, for pass interference, the Saints go to the Super Bowl and they probably win the Super Bowl, okay? Now again, I do think the Saints will regress this year. I don't think Drew Brees is going to be the same quarterback he was last year. At the end of the year, Drew Brees was not a very good quarterback. Taysom Hill was the guy who was called upon to throw deep passes. They got Michael Thomas, but again, they don't have very many good speedy burner type wide receivers. They don't have a good wide receiver that can just take the top off a defense. Michael Thomas is a possession wide receiver and a good jump ball wide receiver, and a guy that knows how to get open consistently. So again, I have you losing to the Saints. I think you beat the Jaguars. I think you'll beat the Panthers, even though I think those two teams will definitely be improved. And then at the Chargers, that's one of the top 5 teams in all football to me. You'll lose that game. Next couple games, Falcons at home, at the Chiefs, at the Colts, and then Raiders at home. 2-2 in those stretch of games as well. So again, you'll beat the Falcons. To me, the Falcons are a pretty good team. They will improve this year. They did have a ton of injuries last year. But again, I think Deshaun Watson's good enough to beat Matt Ryan at home. The Falcons' offensive line is a little bit of a question mark to me. And their defense is a little bit of a question mark to me as well. At the Chiefs, look, Patrick Mahomes is special. This offense is special. Your offensive line to me is still not very good. You actually might make the Chiefs' defensive line look decent. Again, it's on the road. If it was in Houston, I'd pick you guys. But again, I just can't see you beating Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs team on the road. They were pretty much 1 play away from getting to the Super Bowl as well last year if D Ford does not go off sides. Again, I think they're just a little bit more talented of a team. You'll lose that game on the road. At the Colts, they obviously beat you in the playoffs last year. The Colts to me are a better football team than they were last year. I'm not completely sure if this Texans team is a better football team than they were last year. I think the Colts are. Okay, they added Justin Houston. They added Devin Funchess. They added Paris Campbell in the draft. Okay, they had a very good cornerback from Temple. I forget his name. I think it's Rock, whatever his name is. Rock. I'm just going to call him Rock because that's his last name. Rock is his last name, okay? They got Eric Ebron. They got the best offensive line in all football. The Andrew Luck has shredded your defense, okay? Andrew Luck, every time he goes against this Texans defense, pretty much shreds them apart. I just think that because you're on the road, you'll lose that game. Then you'll turn around and beat the Raiders. To me, they're just not a very good team. You'll beat them at home. Next couple games of your season. At the Jaguars, bye week. At the Ravens, Colts at home, Patriots at home. This right here might defy your season. It really might. I'm just going to be real with you. It might defy your season. I have you going 2-2 in these stretch of games. I think you lose at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars, to me, added to their team. They are a more improved team than they were last year. Nick Foles, huge upgrade over Blake Bortles. Jalen Ramsey, a very good cornerback. AJ Boye, very good cornerback. They added to their offensive line in the draft. They get Marquise Lee coming back. Again, they added Josh Allen to their pass rush. Okay, Josh Allen, the very good defensive end / outside linebacker out of Kentucky. They added him to their team. Your offensive line is already not very good. That's another pass rusher you have to deal with. Again, I just don't see you going into Jacksonville and winning. Again, last year you swept the Jaguars. The fact that the Jaguars now have a stable quarterback, I think they beat you. Now this Ravens game. I really struggled to pick this game. I really struggled to pick this Baltimore Ravens game. But again, I just don't see it. I just don't see the Texans winning this game. Again, it's on the road. They have a pretty good defense. Their secondary is very good. They added Earl Thomas. They got Marlon Humphrey in that secondary. Okay, they have some pretty good running backs. They added to the wide receiver core. It's a tough place to play at Baltimore. Again, I just don't trust this offensive line and secondary. And Lamar Jackson, to me, is a very dynamic quarterback. I'd be losing on the road to Baltimore. If it was in Houston, I would pick you guys. But again, I just don't see this Texans team going on the road and beating this Ravens team. They obviously made the playoffs last year for a reason. They're a pretty good team. Colts at home, you'll win that game. I think you actually upset the Patriots. I think you'll beat the Patriots. Listen, Deshaun Watson, the last 2 times he's gone against Tom Brady, they've been close games. I think he finally pulls through and beats Tom Brady in his house. It's a home game. If it was in New England, I'd pick the Patriots. But again, because you get the Patriots at home, I think you'll win that game. So the last 4 games of your season, you probably honestly might need to go undefeated in the stretch to possibly potentially get in the playoffs, okay? So Broncos at Titans, at Buccaneers, Titans at home. Now I'm going to tell you right now, you potentially could go undefeated in the stretch. It's doable. But will it happen? No. I just don't see it. I think you lose to the Broncos at home. I think you lose at the Titans. I think you beat the Buccaneers. I think you beat the Titans at home. So I'd be finishing 8-8, okay? I'll explain myself right now. The Broncos, they did add to their team. Bradley Chubb, Von Miller, very good pass rushers, okay? They added Noah Fant in the draft. They added Dalton Risner in the draft. Joe Flacco, a stable quarterback. He's an upgrade over Case Keenum. Now look, last year, the Broncos should have beaten you guys last year. It was in Denver. It was a close game. They missed a field goal that would have won them the game, potentially. And they lost. I think that because you coming off the win versus the Patriots, it's going to be your biggest win of the season. Usually when teams come off a big emotional win, they tend to come down to earth the very next week. And in this situation, I have you coming down to earth and losing to the Broncos. I think you'll lose at the Titans. You lost to them last year. They have a pretty solid roster. I don't like Marcus Mariota or Ryan Tannehill at quarterback, but again, very solid roster. Running back pretty good. Wide receivers pretty solid. Tight end pretty solid. Defense pretty solid. Pretty good defense. Again, young and ascending defense in Tennessee. You'll lose at Tennessee. At Tampa Bay, I see you pulling off a tough win. I think Bruce Arians and Jameis Winston will definitely do some special things, but again, not versus you guys. And then you'll turn around and beat the Titans at home. I don't think you'll get swept by them this year. So in conclusion, unfortunately for Texans fans, it pains me to say this because I'm a huge Deshaun Watson fan. Again, not a Texans fan. I'm a huge Deshaun Watson fan. But I don't see this team going to the playoffs. I just don't. I don't see them going to the playoffs. 8-8. 9-7 or 8-8 is about right for me. I think 8-8 is about a sweet spot. Again, could you make the playoffs? Yes, you definitely could make the playoffs. You made the playoffs last year. You got Deshaun Watson, a borderline top 10 quarterback. You got DeAndre Hopkins, one of the top 3 wide receivers in all of football. You also have decent wide receivers behind him. Okay, Cootie. Okay, Will Fuller, pretty good. You have an undrafted guy, Johnny Dixon, who I'm high on. You got Jadeveon Clowney. You got J.J. Watt. But again, last year you had a cupcake schedule. This year you had the 4th hardest schedule in all the NFL based on the teams that did well last year. Okay, look, your offensive line is bad. Your secondary is bad. Bad offensive lines and bad secondaries don't make the Super Bowl, and they don't win playoff games. You're not even going to make the playoffs this year. Again, the Colts, they are a more talented team than you guys. I have them winning your division. I just don't see this Texans team pulling through this year. I think you potentially could make the playoffs, but again, it goes back to the bad offensive line and bad secondary and a tough schedule. That equals 8-8 for the Texans this year. And it's not because you don't have the talent. I just think that the schedule's too hard. You need a better offensive line. You need a better secondary. And to me, you're going to have to go out and prove on Sundays that secondary and offensive line is good enough to compete. Until that, unfortunately for Texans fans, I have you going 8-8 in 2019-2020. That's a wrap for this video. However, be sure to smash this like button right now if you're rocking with your boy. Subscribe to this channel if you're new as well. Do post a ton of great sports videos weekly and almost every single day if I can. Turn on post notifications too so you don't miss a single video. It's been your boy Ghiman Mckinney. Appreciate all you guys for tuning into my channel today. You know, be sure to share this channel with all your friends. Share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, all that good stuff. Just help this channel grow. The best thing you guys can help this channel to help this channel grow is to share this channel with all your friends. I want to become one of the great next sports analysts and broadcasters in the world. Okay, that's what I want to do for a full living when I get out of college, okay? So just help me grow on YouTube. Just share this channel with all your friends. Share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, all that good stuff. It's been your boy Ghiman Mckinney. Appreciate you guys for tuning in today, and I'm Ghost. Have a blessed day. All you guys, I'm out.